Hello, whoever is watching this. I don't know how to say this, but I think I've gone mad. You see, I've been stuck on the University of Connecticut campus for quite too long, and you see, me, being the crafty fellow, decided that maybe if I made a paper plane, I could throw it out the window and someone will see it and I could be able to escape. That did not end so well. But I can say this. I did go exploring in this building. I left my room, finally. And I came across things to help my sanity. And it wasn't that much, because honestly, it was just this lovely portrait of the Eiffel Tower. I don't quite necessarily how this is helping my sanity, because I did wake up believing that I was in France. And if I do remember correctly, this room was not blue. It is blue now, and I don't know how to go about this. Food has been coming rather easily. There are random things in this building that I tend to find in random rooms and here, there. Quite astonishing. Now I know when I did get here, there were many animals. And these animals were quite interesting. I didn't have weapons. I didn't have much to begin with when I first came here. All I had was clothes. So I came in here, and that was when the doors locked. After that, I found a key. I took the key, and I put it in. Now, mind you, there are 4 floors in this building. I had to stick the key into numerous doors, locks, and I could not seem to find it. That was until I went to the 4th floor, stuck the key into more doors, and then I heard a click. That was my room. It was my room. This was it was the room that the key fit into, and with that, I laid my things out. Mind you, I did have clothes. Just clothes, really. But I did take some things from a janitor's closet, so those were my weapons, just in case any strangers tried to come into my building, because this is my building. I don't know what these people think. They can just waltz right into my building without getting interrogated? No, that is not happening. Need I remind you that this is my personal journal for you to watch, for you to view, if there is anyone viewing. If I must recap Yes, no, I will not recap because that is far too much for me. But you can watch the previous video that I created and see my journey as to how I got here. Of course, I am going to go furthermore as this video goes on about more adventures, about the things that happened to me while I was here on the University of Connecticut campus. You would be amazed at how much does not go on at a university such as this. Now, while I have been here, there have been numerous animals that I have come across, as I mentioned earlier. But I figured I could take one and tame it as my own. I can't open windows here. The windows are shut for some strange reason. I think somebody planned for me to get stuck here. But anywho, speaking of being stuck here, there were many, many, many rats in the basement of this building. And I decided that I can take one as my own. I did take one as my own, but they bit me in various places, which I would not like to recall. Unfortunately, I am reminiscing about it right now. But fortunately, I did find one window that was open, but there's a bush right in front of it, and on the bush are plenty of berries. So each few weeks I go and I stick my hand out and I pluck some berries down. It was quite a miracle. I thought that I was going to die in this building. When I tried to open all of the exit doors, none of them would open. They're all jammed shut. And the berries just, they truly saved my appetite. But I did find chunks of bread, random bread, by this bush, and I think it was the people outside of this building that, probably ate it. Oh, let me just throw it over here, and they threw it under the bush, and I took this bread and I thought it was, good, so I took a bite of it and it was not good at all. Therefore, I just tossed it back out, and I refuse to pick up any bread that I see under this bush. But I do pick the berries. I still pick the berries, and they are quite the berries. I think you would like them, of course. But one particular day that I do recall was the winter. The winter here is quite rough. I was not as cold as I thought I would be, but I awoke. I went to go and pick my berries outside of the window, and there was snow in front of the panel, and I had to dig for a little bit. But if you don't know, I guess I have to explain the size of the window. The window only opens up about this much. I know you're probably wondering, oh, why couldn't you get out of there, Robin? You could have, dug your way out into the world. Yeah, no, I couldn't, because the window only opens up this much, so my arm can get through, and my head cannot. If you think that my head can get through this, you are quite wrong. But after that snowstorm, I had about 2 days of snow. I had to deal with just the rest of my berries. I usually do good on keeping my berries safe, so I did, eat my berries, and I had to wait until the snow thawed. But thank goodness that there wasn't that much, damage to anything. So I know this might sound very random, very out there, but I did get sick during this storm, or after this storm. It was very cold, and it took a while for me to get over it. I was hallucinating a lot more than I do now. And it was the first time I prayed. I prayed and asked to be taken from this place, because this place is driving me insane. I'm mad, I tell you, mad as a hatter. But after I did get better, after my prayer, I did find good health. And then I decided that it was time to explore this building yet again. So here I am, walking around the building, and I find out that not only do I have to deal with a rat infestation, but I have to deal with random raccoons. Now these raccoons, they decided that, you know, the basement would be their home. When I wasn't looking, I found them and they hissed. I think they hissed. They did something and they didn't like me very much, so I don't really venture much into the basement anymore. But yeah, I don't like it down there. Don't like it at all. As for my raccoon infestation down in the basement, you know, I did catch one. I made him my acquaintance, you know, and he was a good acquaintance, very good one. He was just there. You know, I did talk to him. He's my only friend. I mean, why wouldn't I talk to him? Then I realized, as I was, you know, searching the basement once again, I looked through another window that seemed to open, but it opened up less, so I can't escape from that one either. You know, I noticed there was a building across the quad, and you know, I wanted to start waving and screaming and, you know, stuff like that, but then I figured, why would I yell and scream for someone to help me when it didn't look like anyone was over there to begin with? So I just kept quiet and kept on going. You know, for quite a while I thought that there wasn't anyone in this building, up until I heard knocking on one of the doors. It wasn't on my floor, the 4th floor. It was on the 2nd floor. So I heard the knocking. I thought it was a raccoon that, I don't know how, got stuck into another room, but, you know, I was curious. I took my broomstick that I normally carried with me to hit things with, even though I've never used it before, and I tapped on the door that the knocking was coming from. The door opened, and there was a scruffy, I want to say man, but he was rather small. He looked like he was hysterical, and what I wanted to know was how in the world he got in there. He looked like he'd been in there for weeks. He was as thin as my pinky, and that is very thin. And, you know, I asked him, are you alright? Are you okay? Is there anything that I can get you? I have a source of food. I have a source of communication. I can be your communication. But he looked at me and he didn't seem to understand anything that I was saying. So he looked a little afraid, so I put my stick down and I said, don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. I won't do anything at all. That's when he slowly came out and, you know, he shook my hand. He didn't say anything, of course. I had to, I wondered about him. So I named him, I named him 208. It was the name of the door. So, 208, he was, that's a good boy right there. Very good boy. It was at this point in time that 208 and I, became very good friends. I taught him English because apparently he was not very good with English. He was of another descent, not American, not bilingual apparently. And 208 and I, we got along rather well. He told me about his friends that lived in, if you recall earlier, I did say that there was another building across the quad that I could have reached out to, but, I didn't because I thought that there was no one there. In reality, 208 said that there were people there and they were his friends. He said that he got trapped in this building because he thought that this was the other building. So, unfortunately, 208 and I plan on going and seeing if we can get their attention across the quad. I did see that some windows were open. I don't know how their windows are open, but, apparently they are, and mine aren't. But 208 and I will eventually get in contact with everybody else. And hopefully I will escape this New London Hall one day. So, wish me luck. I will probably be too excited to be out in the real world again to really come back to you if you never hear from me ever again. It is because I have finally escaped from New London Hall in the University of Connecticut, and I shall be roaming the streets, the cities, and everything. I will never come back to New London Hall ever again. So please, have a great life. I shall certainly have a great life. But if I do come back, you obviously know that I didn't get any progress whatsoever. But farewell. I wish you luck in all of your endeavors. And 208 and I are going to leave now. So I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.